Well, Robert, thank you so much for
All
helping with
right.
my project. I was wondering if you could say a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I'm an old retired guy in the northeast corner of Oklahoma. I was always interested in space stuff, and now my oldest daughter is real interested in it too. I like watching everything Elon's doing. That I guess about it.
So I understand you were 14 whenever we first walked on the moon. Could you talk about what that was like and the impact
Yeah.
it had on you?
Well, and I was interested in space, all the way up before that too. I can barely remember the Mercury program. I really got interested, I guess, during Gemini, and then of course I've watched all through the Apollo stuff. It's funny, your memory can almost get changed though from uh, so much history about it since then. Do I really remember it as well as I think I do? And at least on the moon landing, yeah, I was watching all that.
At the time, whenever Neil and Buzz were walking on the moon, did you have the sense that right now it's just a couple of people, but eventually it'll be an option for all of us, or did that not really enter into your mind?
I don't know that I don't know that I thought about everybody getting to go, but I never expected us to stop going. I thought we'd keep going on to the moon and then on to Mars. And yeah, I was disappointed to see how it just faded away.
I get asked about that quite a bit, and I only have second, third, and fourth hand accounts about what really happened. Um, why do you think we stopped going to the moon?
I think it was just money. There wasn't probably a whole lot of new science they were hoping to get, and we'd beat the Russians. That was probably the main thing, and so there just wasn't enough public support for it after a while. I wish there had been. I would have kept urging them on. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people are excited about doing new things, but doing the same thing again is less exciting. Do you think NASA could uh, approach it differently to keep the excitement up? Like, what would you suggest?
You mean now or back then or both? I guess.
Both.
I, I've kind of gotten disappointed in NASA that their rockets take so long to build, and but I understand. To me, NASA's great. They kind of probably get jockeyed around every year by our politicians not being consistent. That's the politicians' fault. Uh, but I think NASA reaching out to private sector companies is the way to go, and that I worry a lot about the space launch system, whether that's ever going to really go anywhere because it's so expensive. I think there'll be cheaper ways before they really get it done. So I think NASA just needs to keep their costs halfway under control. Need to keep reaching out the way they're doing now with private sector.
And I guess regarding us going back to the moon, do you see that actually happening this time? How confident are you that we're going to be able to make it back?
I think we certainly will, and I suppose the space launch system will be a part of it. They could almost change midstream though, and just let SpaceX do it all. Probably be cheaper and faster, but I think we'll get back to the moon. I don't know that I buy off on a permanent moon base like they were, talking about. That just uh, I'm afraid there won't be the money for that ever,
When you think about where it might lead us, say in like 200 years, do you think humanity has expanded beyond the Earth so that we're living on multiple planets at that point, or do you think we're still mainly on the Earth, just making these little short trips?
I think if you're talking a 200-year span, that yes, we could have a permanent facility on Mars easily. I think. Um, I'm hoping we get a few people there before, while I'm still alive. We'll see. They wouldn't
Um,
be there permanently, but I think we could land on Mars in 10 or 15 years and bring them right back.
and if you could, would you take a trip to space?
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt. Even back when the shuttle was flying, and they ended up not having a great success rate. About one out of every 60 blew up. I would have rode on one in a second, though. That would have been great.
How far would you consider going?
Now on
Just to
Elon's, yeah, probably just low Earth, or if they had a private way to get to the space station, sure. A moon trip or something. I don't know. I guess I'd do it if given the chance. I started to say on Elon's rocket, its crazy flip maneuver for landing, at least landing on Earth. That's going to take astronauts a while to get used to that crazy thing. Uh, but it'd be like an amusement park ride, I guess.
That's right. Or maybe design the chairs so even though the vehicle is moving, maybe your chair isn't.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that sure make you feel a little better about it, wouldn't it?
It could.
I don't know if that's in the
Um,
works or not, but it sounds good. Yeah.
you mentioned that your daughter has been down to Boca Chica and saw several of the suborbital test flights. Uh, what was that like?
Right. Well, and she actually wanted to move down there fairly permanently. She's probably made 4 or 5 trips now, and watched the last, the 2 big attempts. Um, she kind of moved in down there and then got sick and her medical insurance wasn't right, so she kind of had to come back home for that. But I'm thrilled that she can go down there and watch it. I think her and her boyfriend just love the beach life anyway, so it kind of works out for them. Um, I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. I guess I worry a little bit about security of people, but no, so they enjoy it, and she'll probably go down every chance she gets. I would love to go down and watch one of the launches too, but I probably won't ever do that until they're pretty routine or something. And even that, we've tried going to Florida to watch, I guess, a space shuttle launch, and after staying 4 days, it didn't go. So it's hard to see the launches, but I'd love to.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I remember one time I had a party for one of SpaceX's launches back like 5 6 years with my younger son, and they ended up having to scrub the launch, and he walked away feeling that they always scrub, but they've become a lot more consistent with their Falcon 9 launches.
Oh, the Falcon 9 is just amazing. Yeah. I hope his big
Um,
one can get that consistent. Yeah.
a, a lot of people I talk to wonder what we hope to get out of going to space, and I was wondering, what you hope to get out of us actually going back to the moon and what Elon's doing and things like that. I mean, what do you see as the value?
Oh, I know NASA in the past has published kind of list of things that they helped spur on, like GPS and just technology in general has improved. And I would think things that we can't even think of now may be helped by this kind of work, but mainly it's just the exploration. I think mankind loves to push the limits, and we're just still pushing limits.
I hear some people say, how come we're not exploring underneath the oceans and building kind of habitats there? And I just wonder what your take would be on that.
Well, there was that one in the news a month or two ago where private people were trying it. It didn't work out real well, but I guess any private company that wants to do something like that, whether it's, I guess they were probably trying to commercialize that trip too. More power to them. It just doesn't interest me as much, but I could see a lot of people wanting to do that. I think what bothers me sometimes back on space stuff is some people think that Elon's stuff is somehow funded by tax dollars, and it's really not, other than NASA hiring SpaceX for something. But he's got everything so much cheaper than NASA could ever do. It's a great cost savings to the tax people to have private sector doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
It's
don't think some people can. Uh, I was going to say I don't think some people can imagine just how often there's a need to put a satellite up, like once a week or something. Of course, maybe Elon's putting up more than he needs to. That's something else. But there's just a tremendous amount of satellites that go up for all kind of purposes, and the fact that he can put them up so much cheaper than anyone else in the past, that's great. I'm sorry. Now go ahead.
yeah, it's really amazing. I think he's on track to do 100 launches this year, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, 2 a week. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Robert, I really appreciate getting to talk to you. That's pretty much all the questions I had. I was wondering if you had any questions for me or anything you think would be good to add.
Oh, nothing really. In the on that form I filled out, I mentioned how I liked the Gemini capsule because to me it suddenly looked like a sports car up there, with the two little windows and two people sitting side by side. I just love the Gemini. I guess that's when I got hooked. I can't think of any questions for you. I kind of keep up with things, on Google and watch what I can. And every one of his big space launches, I sit there and try to watch it all live. There's so many of those broadcasters. Now, are you one of the broadcasters that go down there and do that? Bloggers,
I'm not. No,
Okay.
no, I
I
haven't done
thought you
that,
might
but
be. Yeah. It's almost like there's getting to be a lot of competition in that world, isn't there?
absolutely.
Yeah. And they're pretty knowledgeable, everybody. That's what's good. Everybody's just trying to share knowledge and share stuff where some I don't know, Facebook groups or whatever you might be on, or there's a lot of just bad people out there. But on that space stuff, you don't really see any of that. Everybody's just trying to share information and help each other learn. It seems to me like I love it.
Me too. Well, Robert, thank you again so much. It's such a pleasure to get to talk to you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
All right. Well, thank you very much. All right. Bye. I don't know how to turn my phone off. There we go.